know someone, or are you personally battling a drug and alcohol addiction? Why are so many people addicted today? And why have so many people died as a direct result of this disease? If you've been affected by this problem and want answers like we do, then join us in our efforts to face this disease. Our purpose is to examine the truths, expose the lies, and uncover and provide resources to this affliction. Come, join us in this journey.
Welcome back to Addiction and Recovery TV. I'm your host, Charlene DeChico. Joining me today in the studio, I have Chris Levine. Welcome, Chris.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, and Chris is not only an actor, producer, but he's going to talk today about his film coming out.
Yes.
Chris is going to tell us about his film, Anabolic Life. So, Chris, thank you so much for joining us.
Of course. You know, when we met on the carpet the other night, I had no idea that you worked a station with addiction and recovery and substance abuse. I was just pitching the film, and it worked out.
And what a great topic for Addiction and Recovery TV. So we definitely want to support you any way that we can.
Thank you.
And I want to hear the story. So we know anabolic, right, is a type of steroid. So there's something about, you know, this steroid life that you're going to share with the audience. So why don't you tell us about what the film is about?
Sure. So about 5 years ago, I wanted to do a feature film on something I knew, something sports related, and then I went back to that whole write what you know. And if you flash back to about 2008, I was in college as a personal trainer, and nobody wanted to train with me because I was always a skinny dude.
Okay.
And I was just so frustrated with it, but I still was into working out. I just could never gain muscle. And I met this bodybuilder, national competitor, who got me ready for my first bodybuilding show, and it included a lot of steroids. And that was kind of like a quick introduction into steroids.
Wow.
And to see the results, it became addictive.
Now, are they immediate? I mean, this type of steroid, well, first of all, are there different types of steroids? What makes anabolic steroids different than others, if there are?
So like your doctor will recommend a steroid to help an infection or a skin rash, right? There's different type of steroidal creams and stuff, but anabolic steroids immediately affect your testosterone levels. And that's what is the building block of being a man, I guess you could say. It controls muscle growth and your voice changing and hair growth, all these manly
So whenever
things.
you're doing that for fitness, they're always under the anabolic steroid umbrella. Like there's only one type of...
It's like 90%.
Okay.
There's probably some, like I'm not a true scientist on steroids, but there's probably some that aren't anabolic per se, but they do other things that still boost muscle growth in a different way.
Okay.
But yeah.
So now get into the, you were talking about the results, and this bodybuilder was saying, hey, this is the result you'll get. Is it an immediate result? Like how long does it take?
It takes a couple weeks for your body to start going, okay, so it's what we're going to get very medical here, right?
Sure.
So it's what your testicles do as a man.
Okay.
It creates testosterone. That's the only thing they do. So it takes weeks for your body to go, okay, they don't need to work anymore because you're injecting more than what they could create anyways.
Wow.
Then when that happens, that transition, that's when all of those things that come with testosterone happen. So your nitrogen levels increase, you hold more water, your blood increases the amount of blood your body makes, and all those things lead to muscle growth.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the addictive part of it all. So is it an addiction of like seeing the muscles, or do you actually get addicted to the substance?
I don't think it's like a addiction like crack or meth or something like that, but it's definitely a visual addiction.
Okay.
And there's definitely a feeling there. It's just alone when your body makes 5 times more blood, you just feel pumped.
Right.
All day, just anybody in general, like when you go to the gym and you feel good after.
Right.
That's a feeling you have all the time when you're doing a cycle. And then you start seeing these results, and like all this hard work is paying off so much quicker. Like for instance, they say a normal male adult that works out hard, eats right, could maybe gain 10 pounds a year.
Okay.
You're putting on 10 pounds a week.
Oh, really?
On a steroid cycle.
Oh, wow.
It's wild.
So that's the benefit of it. It sounds good. Yay, you're pumped. It's all good, right? But then there's the the downward spiral. So tell us about how you're going all the way up and you think it's all good, but then what happens?
Well, so there's a couple things, right? So like anything, if you abuse them, your own body starts shutting down its own testosterone levels.
Okay.
And it could get to a problem where you can't jumpstart them again. So you end up with higher estrogen levels, which make you more feminine in that sense from a man.
Really?
Yeah.
So wait, explain that again.
There's a very fine line between estrogen and testosterone in everybody.
Okay.
Right? Women just have a higher estrogen level than testosterone. Men have higher testosterone than estrogen.
Sure.
But as those levels work around your steroid cycle, sometimes your testosterone level just doesn't work anymore.
Okay.
And you become more feminine in that sense.
Wow.
And so you end up losing all the muscle that you've gained. And then that becomes a psychological problem. And that's where a lot of suicides and things like that and people going crazy, a couple wrestlers, professional wrestlers, I don't know the name specifically, but a couple of them I know went suicidal, or one of them I think killed his family or something like that.
Oh, wow.
You can't directly blame it on steroids, but you can definitely blame it on the psychological effects of these up and down muscle growths and things like that.
So for you then, getting involved and having that experience, what was the turning point? Like, how did you be able to pump the brakes or do something different?
I think luckily for me, I hated needles.
Okay.
And you can orally ingest them as well, but it's better for your body to inject them intramuscular. And I just couldn't stand needles. It was really bad for me. So I was happy to get off of it after that first show. But I got addicted to that feeling, that look.
Did you win something?
I went into a novice class, and out of like 6 guys, I got 3rd.
Wow.
So,
and from being the skinny guy
to like,
I could see how that could really take a toll. Like, that really must have
now you're like,
loop,
whoa,
right?
Insta
famous.
Right? Yeah, in that sense, right? Now you're like this. Now you're in this culture of bodybuilding,
right?
And then the next year, I decided to do a couple more shows and just stayed on it all year. And you get to a point where your body can't accept any more than you're giving it, and you're not seeing the results like you did before. And it's almost like chasing that dragon.
Sure.
Same kind of thing. Except you're not going to die specifically from it, right? You're just mentally going to get more and more messed up. I'm not there yet. Why am I not changing? Why am I not growing? Why is my muscles not looking as good as they should? So that's the psychological side. Now, physically side of steroid abuse, it does affect your liver.
Right.
And so maybe...
Could you feel that? Like, did you feel side effects at this point? Like,
no, it was really just like the standard acne, some anger, a little bit. But it's more, I tell people, and excuse the language, but if you're an asshole when you're not on steroids, you're going to be a bigger asshole when you're on steroids.
Okay.
That's the thing,
Right.
So, but I've always been a pretty chill dude, so it's just you have that Greek god complex, so maybe you allow yourself to get a little angrier than normal because maybe you can back it up with your muscles now, right?
Okay.
The alpha male thing.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, the other thing with steroids is that there hasn't been any specific deaths linked to taking too many steroids. So people don't really care.
Okay.
But where they should care is that our kids in high school and even younger, they're trying to look like these guys in movies. They're trying to look like these athletes. And then athletes are getting a lot of pressure to be great.
Sure.
Hey, you want to be a superstar, right? And that's where the steroid abuse, I think, is bigger than ever now, is in our schools. And there's no education in our schools about it.
No.
They don't talk about it. They don't bring it up. They don't... education is the leading thing to prevention.
Sure.
In most cases,
and knowledge, having that knowledge is like power, and then giving you the...
Yeah.
So, okay, in the film, do you talk about these things? How does the film transition?
So the film transitioned to, it's fictional, right? So it didn't follow my story directly. But it's about a guy who is not happy with the way he looks, and it doesn't matter how great things are around him. He begins going to the gym, not seeing results, and tries to find the shortcut, and literally Googles how to make steroids.
Okay.
And you can find instructions online to make your own steroids, and we kind of showed the runaround, not the exact.
Right.
And he makes a batch of steroids, and they're bad because they're not sterile.
Okay.
He gets an infection, almost dies, and then meets a bodybuilder similar to my case that goes, I see you in here and you're not seeing results, but I can help you with that. And then he goes down that downward spiral of steroid abuse.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's how the movie is.
Wow. So, okay, for your personal story, then you came to terms with, this isn't, obviously you got out of the game, right, and stopped. So the transition out of that, is it like something pulling you back, or is it a smooth transition? Were you able to just turn the page? I mean, was it hard to overcome? How did that process look for you?
I think it took me a while to be happy with my body coming off of steroids.
And have like some acceptance? Did you have to do some therapeutic work?
No, I probably could have. Like everybody could use therapy in some sense. It was just probably a good 2 to 3 years of just being unhappy with what I saw in the mirror.
Okay.
But never to an extreme sense of suicidal or things like that. I was just, 22, 23 and just like, man up, bro. Like this is either you take steroids or you don't. And if you don't, just deal with it.
Right.
Probably not the healthiest way to deal with issues, but eventually you get through it, and you get to a point where now I'm older, I'm in my 30s now, so you have muscle memory, you have muscle maturity, and you go, okay, I don't look too bad for being that guy, and that's always fun.
How about physically? Do you see anything that's like a result of that time in your life? Do you feel fortunate that you kind of dodged the bullet?
Yeah, there's no I think erectile dysfunction is a side effect of that as well.
Okay.
I never had anything like that. Some guys get fat deposits below beneath their nipples. It's called gyno something. There's a long, but we call it gyno in the gym. So I never got any of that, which is
Good
great.
For you. Right.
And then I think on the long term side of things, my body is different now, right? Because I did get to those kind of peaks and levels and did have extra testosterone in my system over the years.
Sure.
So I think my gains now are probably a little better than they would have if I never took them.
Okay.
Yeah. And I'm not, anti-steroid at all.
Right.
I'm all about just being educated before you do it.
Sure. And so what would you say to our audience? Maybe there's somebody out there that is considering steroids or just has a poor self-image.
Yeah.
And obviously you had to get to some point where you could accept yourself and just be happy with who you, in the skin that you're in, and avoid damaging yourself for the price of vanity, really, right?
Vanity, yeah.
So how do you encourage people today? And would you like to tell our viewers something that's been helping you?
Sure. I guess I'll just talk right into the camera.
Please do.
So just know that if you do decide to take steroids, it's not going to change how you truly feel about yourself. It's only something that's going to last a certain period of time. You can't stay on steroids forever because your body will stop absorbing them and you'll actually be losing muscle gains. So it's a cycle thing. You have to cycle it, and when you come off, you're going to have to realize that you're going to lose some. You're going to feel down again. But just know that hard work and nutrition are the keys to any successful body and sport athlete routine.
Awesome.
Focus on that.
And how about, would you say, as an alternative, maybe if we could avoid steroids altogether, would you have an encouraging word to say, hey, listen, there's this other option or something else, how to be in the gym and be okay and not even get involved?
Yeah. Nothing replaces steroids, to be honest with you.
So it's a big temptation. It's a big...
I think that if you had a connection where either they had their own, either they made it or they had a connection somewhere to steroids, it's very tempting to say yes to it. Especially if you don't really care about needles. If it's not a big deal, then there's really nothing stopping you. There's precursor to steroids at GNC and Vitamin Shop and stuff like that. They're supposed to naturally increase testosterone levels.
Is that like your creatine or no?
No, creatine doesn't do that. So there's natural herbs that do increase testosterone levels. And usually I tell people, start with that.
Okay.
I think the actual name is Tribulus terrestrius or something like that. And it's a cheap herbal pill that does work on a very low level.
Okay.
So if your testosterone levels are normal for your age, you're not going to notice a difference. But for the older crowd, the older guys, they do feel a little different on it. I would start there. I would make sure your nutrition is at a peak level.
Okay.
Usually what I tell people that come to me about steroids, I go, okay, I'm not anti-steroids, I'm telling you I'm not, but I want to see you do these things. Like I want to see your nutrition on point, like no sugar, and I want, whole grains and 5 meals a day, and I want you to count your macros, and I want to see you in the gym, at least 4 times a week. Then I want to see that after a month or 2.
Sure.
Then come to me. Now, if
Okay.
someone can do that for 2 months, they might already be happy with where they're at.
Great. Right.
That might be all it is. So I like to test people in that sense. They might not need them at that point because now they're starting to see a little 2 or 4 pack probably,
Okay.
Maybe that's all they really wanted,
Right.
Um,
So there's other alternatives, and you can do a lot of things if you take the initiative to really
Yeah.
motivate and get that look that you're looking for. Just that
think
kind
so.
of accomplishment, sense of accomplishment. Or,
yeah, I think so. And remember, like, these guys you see on magazines and our idols,
Right.
that's really good lighting.
Okay.
That's really good lighting. That's Photoshop. There's a lot of things. Instagram, there's a lot of Photoshop in there. Some people are genetically more advanced than others.
Right.
Some naturally have a body type that has abs.
Mm-hmm.
I'm half Jewish, and I definitely don't have abs naturally.
Right.
It takes a lot of hard work. So you have to also think about those. And then your bodybuilders that you see on stage, these guys, they're not natural.
Right.
So you have to remember that too, when
Yeah.
you're chasing these idols that they have help.
Well, that's what I see. I mean, obviously, I'm on the outside looking in, but what I can tell is that if you want to get involved with bodybuilding or you want to enjoy and partake of the sport, you're already signing up for disaster because it just doesn't seem like anybody's doing it. You gotta play the game. Nobody's playing fair, and if you're gonna stand a chance, you got to be on their level. And so it's very unfortunate because I would like to see. Personally, I would love to see a championship or a competition like strictly natural and I think that would be, a turning point. I have a son who's 21 and he's that guy, right? He has the Greek god body. He just natural.
Yeah.
He builds. It's unbelievable. He actually started becoming a model because he was just so,
That's
and
great.
that is, but it's like you see all of these other people and I do feel bad for him because it's like his class or whatever that is that he's able to build naturally. It would be nice if those people could work together and really just I have a lot of admiration because he is all natural and he wants to stay that way.
Yeah, that's great.
It would be nice if there was a network of people and they said, it's just like with women. We keep doing all of these things to our lips and our eyes and all. Then when we don't, we feel like, well, what about my look? Is this natural look still a look, or are we going to be like
Right.
going in with extinction? It just natural isn't a thing anymore. So I kind of feel that same way of like somebody's got to stand up and bring back those core. So
Yeah, there is natural bodybuilding shows.
right, okay,
But the thing about that is that steroids, they don't have a long life in your system.
right,
So you could, in general, do the first 6 months of the year, do a crazy cycle,
okay,
right? And just do it right to where you line it up where it comes out of your system right around those natural bodybuilding days.
oh wow,
And still show up on stage looking better than everybody.
Wow.
So it's really difficult.
tough game. It sounds like
It's
a
a tough game.
It's a tough game.
But if your son already has genetics,
well, he's an athlete at heart, so he doesn't really want to be a bodybuilder. So
Right.
that's good.
That's good.
He's an athlete, but he does build and he builds well, and he's
great.
strong and he's into fitness.
Yeah.
So I just think of the idea of it, of that people can't even compete fairly in that kind of.
Yeah.
It's a whole big racket, and it's just. It's totally fine. Like, it's acceptable and you play the game.
It
So
is.
my heart does go out for people that get caught up in that and, then struggle. And so back to the film,
Sure.
This I think is a great film for people to enjoy and see the story and understanding. So tell us where and when they can see this film and, some contact information. Let our audience know.
Sure. So, Anabolic Life, it's available everywhere digitally now, so you can rent or buy it anywhere from YouTube to Amazon Prime. It's free on Tubi, like Tubi.
Yeah.
And is it Vimeo? There's a bunch of on your satellite, and then you could also buy the Blu-ray at Target and Amazon
Awesome.
online. Yeah.
That's great. So how long's it been out there on the...
It's been out for almost a year now.
Okay.
And, you know, we get 50-50 on reviews from people.
That's what I wanted to hear, the feedback.
So just to keep it real, so the people who hate it are the ones that love steroids and would never talk bad about steroids.
Okay.
Because they look at it as, oh, this is just, you guys are just bashing steroids. You don't even know. There's no thought behind this. I'm little they know that I've taken steroids a lot. I even took steroids for the movie. In the movie, you'll see me take steroids.
Okay.
It was something that I knew I had to do. So what I did was, I normally walk around about 165.
Okay.
And I lost 30 pounds for the beginning of the film to show this guy who maybe really does struggle with muscle gain.
Okay.
And then we took 3 months off of shooting. I did a cycle and went up to 205.
Okay.
So in the movie, you see this skinny kid become this beast.
Right.
And I get a lot of people who love it. They're like, you became hairy and a beast and this alpha male, and that's like so awesome. And then, you know, you have the people that are like, that's you bashing steroids in this movie. That's not really how it is. And if I wanted to make a documentary, it would go, guy takes steroids, he gets big, he gets off steroids, he gets small, and then he does it again.
Right.
That would be the documentary.
Kind of like the vicious cycle that we talk about with addiction, you know, and just how hard it is to let go of something when you've gotten those results that you want.
Yeah.
Like, you know, the bottom line with drug addiction, people do drugs because they like them, you know, and the ones that stop, it's not because they stop liking them.
No.
It's they had realized that this isn't a good fit for me.
Right, exactly.
So 9 times out of 10 people that I talk to that are former drug addicts or substance abuse, they have not lost that desire or that interest. What they have lost is desire, and they don't pick them up. So that's profound, you know. So
that's
good
tough.
for you
thank you,
for turning the corner, and we're excited about the film.
Yeah, I hope everyone checks it out and reach out to me. I'm on Instagram at only Chris Levine. And you can find me on Facebook as well. And then, you know, if you see the movie from the show, you know, let me know. I'd love to talk to you about it.
Yes, I totally am. I'm going to check it out.
Oh,
and, yeah, so thank you so much, Chris, for being here. Great
of course.
talk.
Thank you for having me.
We'll be right back at Addiction and Recovery TV.
Listen, look at yourself in the mirror and say, do I like the way I look? Answer fuck no and shoot. Fuck what you heard about steroids being all bad and shit, fuck. They're only bad if you know what the fuck you're doing. Listen, man, I'm gonna do you a favor. I'm gonna put you on some clean shit.
You do realize that we're a team. We're a team. All of us are components of this great team.
I guess just so we're clear, I'm delivering steroids.
Been shooting steroids. Your wife told us. You could have died.
What about me, Adam? What about your fucking family?
You go near my son again, I'll fucking kill him.
You better get the fuck off my property right now.
Are you fucking kidding me?
You scared? Man the fuck